Thanks everybody for attending. My name is Jay Gillespie again. I oversee several different areas of our product management organization here at Rebel Systems and our strategic roadmap, including our pizza initiative, which is our goal of providing a best-in-class solution geared towards the pizza marketplace specifically. Today's agenda, we're going to cover, discussion today is going to focus mostly on strategies and overall best practices of how technology can really make your pizzeria stand out in what is an already crowded field. So first I want to discuss how we got here and how the hospitality industry has really often followed pizza business, right? You guys have been the early adapters and really the thought leaders in this space for a long time, right? Pizza's long been at the forefront of innovative technology, especially when it comes to hospitality tech. I mean, really since the 70s, a surprising number of technological innovations have centered in some way on pizza. Large chains have driven it, at least in the early days, due to their they have robust resources and they can drive these things forward. Places like Domino's, Pizza Hut. Domino's really, I think the New York Times said, back in the 90s, Domino's released, or the 80s, the pizza version of dialing 911. For the first time, Domino's customers across the country could call a single phone line, and it's really the first invention of a call center, right? Where you can call a single phone line and whoever the customer was, you can be routed to any location in the country. Regular use technology like online ordering, delivery, loyalty programs, and customer relationship management, they all have their roots in pizza. These are things that other verticals have started to utilize now, but a lot of them really started in the pizza industry because you guys have such a unique setup. And you have the complexity, right? You guys have pizza's complex. It's a challenge, right? Innovation comes complexity. Pizza's from your menu structure, customized pizzas like half this, quarter that, etc. You've had to really incorporate points of sale and other technologies that helped you be able to offer these things to your customers in somewhat of an easy way. As more pizza stores started to really allow you to build what you wanted for lunch, dinner, etc., your pizzerias had to adapt. All right? Your staffing needs are different, and how your customer ultimately consumes your product has always been unique, and it's always ever changing. Complex menu offerings have really driven the point of sale technology to adapt to those needs. And any other really hospitality technology, really they look to you guys first to really where they're going to start, right? Domino's ascension from near bankruptcy to a market share leader didn't happen because they changed their pizza sauce or offered any better ingredients or anything like that. It happened because they changed their identity from a pizza company to a technology innovator, right? And then, typically large chains have never been able to compete, or beat smaller mom and pops, or even smaller chains really on quality often. Where they try to beat you is on convenience. The phrase, let's just order a pizza, I know it's said in my house a lot, and many others for this reason. It's in the consumer mindset now that when we need something quickly and easily, we kind of go to pizza, right? Moral of the story is that pizza and tech are important partners, and if you've chosen to be in this business, the vast majority of you have already have to adapt and be leaders in the hospitality technology space. Next, we'll discuss major part of how your POS has changed and how it's a major part of how you drive revenue. It's more and more consumer facing, and it's not just transactional anymore. It needs to really be a full suite of solutions. The technology you and your staff interact with in the store is now often the same tech your customers interact with. It may look different, of course, but ideally it's one system doing many things. A digital footprint is key, as customers need to be able to find you now and understand your brand. Your customers need to be able to find you. In the past, you would seek them out. Now they really need to be able to find you easily through a number of different channels. The days of your point of sale as a means of simply recording revenue are over, and any provider you work with needs to offer a full suite of solutions for both in-store operations and consumer-facing products. Whether it's native products that fit your needs or something more robust through an integration with a third-party platform, you'll need your technology providers to have you covered when it comes to these things. Like things like customer loyalty, online ordering, delivery management, kiosk, future ordering, and real-time analytics into your business. Any provider that you're either looking to have or currently have needs to be able to offer you these solutions if you're really going to try to stand out, right? A good POS partner will allow you to focus on the quality while they deliver the convenience in a seamless fashion to your customers. Analytics are key, right? Reporting is more than just sales now. It's really about showing you what you do well and really more importantly, what you might not do well. Real-time analytics are key to making crucial business decisions, right? Any tech provider you utilize now or point of sale should really make sure that that's available. Okay, real-time analytics should be an option of every POS you engage with. Understanding your customers and their buying trends ultimately helps you make decisions around things like most purchased items from, say, online ordering, delivery, kiosk, or just say maybe a time of day when these things are most popular, when you're selling them. Pizzerias often have to offer specials and coupons and things like that to compete, and that's the norm. But you need to understand your customers' buying habits, which ultimately allows you to tailor some of these offerings and drive business off of them. If you're not incorporating some sort of tech that allows you to fully understand your customer base and then allows you to historically look back and look at analytics about who's purchasing, what their favorite things are, who's purchasing from where and when, you're missing out on some ways to stand out here. And you'll need to know your most profitable items, of course, so you make sure your tech providers can provide you solid costing on all of your ingredients. Make sure they have some level of inventory management if it's not a full solution, at least to give you some idea of what your costs are. Give you the data that makes you more profitable, right? When you're talking about loyalty programs or things that are all very popular now, what you offer to your consumers doesn't always have to be the most your least profitable item, right? Or maybe you want to, when you want to, accentuate things where your bottom line is better influenced. If you don't know that, it's hard to really tailor these things to your customers. So make sure you can get those real analytics in there. Flexible hardware. You need to make sure your hardware is very flexible. Your needs change as you grow. You may decide you want to incorporate kiosks, kitchen displays instead of printers, or vice versa. Reduce or add new peripherals. You don't want to be stuck with just a simple out-of-the-box solution that can never change or adapt, or later on now you have to go buy a whole new system because now they finally came out with some new feature. Make sure you're working with these tech partners. They're mature in the marketplace and they can offer all of these solutions right away. You got to have the right solutions if you're going to grow. Your storefront may change. Don't let a POS or any tech that you're using limit your storefront or somehow prevent you from reinventing your customer engagement in the store. Integrations. Every good system you're going to work with should be a full ecosystem. Pizza's been a leader in the space, so due to this, there's a large number of different platforms that cater specifically to the pizza or SMB, QSR industry, however you want to claim it. Most of the ones that are specifically for verticals typically go to the pizza area because there's 93,000 or however many of you guys around nationwide and worldwide. Whether it's robust loyalty platforms like, say, Como, or like even middleware like Chowly, that's designed to sort of aggregate these different delivery services that are now very popular, of course. A robust platform you should adopt have a very robust ecosystem to offer you multiple options. The same companies that are used by large chains should be available to you from your point of sale provider and should offer an easy, seamless integrations. These large chains, these large companies, these large 300 store locations use these providers. And your point of sale provider and any tech you're losing should be able to offer those same solutions that those guys are using for you if you're a 1 to 2 store as well. If you don't currently offer some form of rewards program, you need to really consider it. By 2020, 51% of customers expect that businesses will anticipate their needs and really make relevant suggestions. Pulled that from a number of different reports and things like that, but that's really true. We're starting, all of us, even with those of us who may have not fallen in the millennial generation, are starting to have different expectations when interacting with restaurants now. And being able to adapt to that before and not be able to ahead of time and not after the fact is really key to getting you guys to stand out. Guerrilla marketing, things like that are important, but equally important is the engagement in the store and digitally that can set your restaurant apart and get your customers coming back. Mass marketing is quick and easy, but what you need really is to have targeted engagements. And you can't do targeted engagements without insights into top customers by spends, visits, understanding of their purchasing habits, again, like we referred to back earlier, understanding who your customers are, where they're coming from, any tech provider that you deal with that needs to be able to give you this information, that's where some customers' plays come in, et cetera. How you gather that data is where your point of sale can really help you. Make sure the technology you put in front of your customer is intuitive and allows for customers to interact with seamlessly. Anything you do with customer-facing displays or online ordering, kiosks, or any with apps that you might be working with, always keep in mind the customers are going to be consumer-facing, right? Go back to your point of sale is no longer transactional. How you set it up and how you implement it, you have to keep the consumer now in mind when you do this now. Who's going to see it? They're going to see your menu offerings, going to see what's there. And make sure that your brand is there. Often these tech partners that you might work with might have their branding out front first, especially some of the newer ones. When you're implementing any kind of new technology, especially point of sale, make sure that your pizzeria is the one that's out first when we're talking about consumer-facing technologies, assuming they offer these marketplace. Make sure your message is out there first. Another future thing is our kiosk and mobile order takers. We spend a good bit of time here at Rebel Systems working on those. If you're a small business or even multi-location, kiosks need to be on your radar. Even if you're not thinking about implementing them, you really need to start thinking about it. The technology has come a long way, and more systems are offering kiosk ordering. If you stepped into a McDonald's, obviously, you've seen what the capabilities are. That's the large chain, that's the leader. But as minimum wage around the country continues to rise, and frankly, in a robust economy, keeping store staffed has been an ongoing challenge for the hospitality industry for many years, and I remember it as well, more and more businesses are at least thinking about incorporating a kiosk system. It's not the solution to remove, people are worried about it, removing, order takers or employees from the staff. That's a long ways away and may never happen. But being able to offer that along with a great customer experience can really set you apart. Revel and other POS systems are offering better looking and easier to use native kiosks that help you make your store stand out. Any solution should have an ecosystem as well. I think a lot of SMBs and smaller chains as well sort of looked at the new age kiosks and they're very large and they're very robust and they're very in your face, and they may feel like there's no way something like that would either work in their store or maybe it's too costly to implement. This is where a good POS partner should have a solid integration with a third party that focuses solely on these products. There are a number of companies, not a large number, but there's a small number of companies that are building these products with SMB and mid-size range customers in mind, so it's not cost prohibitive. We've recently rolled out several of these with integration that offers sort of the full customer experience of everything that you think. New features, and these new companies can offer things like facial recognition. Obviously, they store payments and historical orders. They have these large interactive displays similar to what you would see in a large chain, and also they have an integrated loyalty that's very easy to sign up for and obviously easy to redeem. That is what your system or whoever your partner should be looking to the future in either building these solutions or making sure they have a solid partner that can get these solutions to you. In the case of many POS systems, they should be focusing on being a good POS, and they should be offering solutions like this from other third-party companies that are seamless integrations where you can choose a solid system from a POS or a massively robust system from a third-party company that offers all of those things like facial recognition, etc. This particular rollout's for a multi-location enterprise customer, but these types of offerings are going to be readily available for any size merchant, and they should not be cost prohibitive when done correctly. They offer a number of different advantages. They might not be for everyone. I understand that. Some mom and pops or local pizzerias don't want to go full tech. Maybe that's a little next step, but just you should consider the benefits of what they have versus the downside of having something big like that in your store. They do give you word of mouth. All right, since it's a relatively new technology, you'll see a lot of, it gives the place a little, hey, you should see this, or I'm going to come back to this because it recognizes who I am. Look at this cool new feature, this facial recognition feature, all these things is a next level technology. And also it increases speed of service and potential labor reduction. It is in fact do that. It doesn't replace your entire labor force, but there's no doubt that kiosks, and especially very large, robust ones, can help at the very least reduce your labor costs in a significant fashion. Mobile order takers offer several advantages as well. Depending on your setup as to whether you are a table service, counter service, or maybe a hybrid or a mobile order taker, offers you flexibility in your service. For table service, it allows for better order accuracy, faster service, easier checkout process at the table. EMV certified mobile card swipes are key in keeping you out of a liability scope and ultimately provide a sense of security for your diners as the card never leaves the table. Make sure that if you want to utilize mobile order takers, you need to go ahead and incorporate a card swipe that's compatible with your POS that you can take around with you. So for QSR, quick service, counter service, fast casual, line busters, which we're talking about, mobile order takers are a clear way to sort of clear your queue and avoid walk-offs due to a perception that you may be too busy for them to get served. Oftentimes, operators get a little spooked by these as they're afraid of killing the kitchen. I've heard that a number of times. I don't want to just go ahead and ring in 35 orders to the kitchen. And that's an understandable concern, all right? But you don't want to lose business either with the perception that they're too busy to serve me. Online ordering and delivery. Again, that's obviously a big topic in the pizza industry, and most involved systems should offer this, and they all do, and it certainly started with, and very much so in the pizza industry. But if you're considering this, or if you don't offer it yet, so just some stats. So many industry experts have the off-premise traffic for the restaurant industry hitting around 60 to 70% in the coming years. For pizzerias especially, customers have high expectations online that have been set by big pizza chains and brands like Amazon and iTunes. For many customers, it'll likely be their first impression of you when you incorporate online. This will be their first impression of you, so keep that in mind when you're deciding on a solution. This is going to be the first impression that a lot of customers get of me, especially once you roll it out. So for online ordering, how do you leverage your technology to stand out in a crowded field and ultimately choose the right provider? There's some questions to ask, right? Is it user-friendly? When it comes to your digital presence and off-premise sales, ease of engagement for the consumer is essential. Nobody wants a clumsy app. Can I customize my offerings, right? But what you offer for in-store versus pickup versus delivery may vary greatly for any number of reasons. POS should be able to, your online ordering capability should be flexible enough to handle that. Make sure you're not, you don't want to offer something for delivery that you might not deliver well, right? And can I manage it in real time Is it built-in offering from a POS, or is it a seamless integration with a third party of my choosing? Any POS provider, any technology provider should really offer a robust online solution, but then also, again, a robust ecosystem as well, where you might have a preferred provider that you already have, or a preferred provider that you found in the future that you like, that where their API structure can easily manage this and get some new partners adapted very easily. Can this online ordering track my loyalty and my customers? Can it remember my customers' preferences, historical orders, so they can reorder very easily, especially for pizza? People who have complicated pizza orders, there's a lot of them. Make sure that they can reorder it with ease without having to choose it each time. And ultimately, do you remember me? Do you, when I come back to your site, does it know who I am, and does it know what I like? And also, don't forget that you need to make sure it's easy for you to use for you and your staff. Don't forget it should be easy to set up, and you have a business to run. And then the flow of orders, managing them. When it comes to delivery, technology providers can help you navigate the digital age. The large chains get 50% of their business now digitally, and that's only going up. And small and medium-sized businesses are adapting to it slower, as they don't have the necessary means to build it themselves. But the good news is POS providers and other tech companies have built and are continuing to build products and services to answer this. When it comes to delivery, there are several questions pizzerias need to answer as well. The big one now is, how does it relate to the online delivery services like Uber Eats, et cetera, Grubhub, DoorDash? Many pizzerias have adopted, or at least considering bringing in these platforms, and for good reason. It's a $7 billion industry, so I think it's safe to say it's not a trend anymore. And I'm sure many of you who operate a pizzeria who may not offer these solutions yet probably get a number of different customers coming in. A lot of POS systems have adapted, including Revel. Not all of them have, though. And so, there's nothing worse than walking into a restaurant. And I feel a great deal of pity for order takers and cashiers when I see all those tablets hanging around. I know they have to do double entry, and just hope for the best that they're entering it in accurately and on time and all that, and gathering and make sure they're paying it out correctly. It's a challenge. So make sure any system you have has an answer to this problem, and not all. And it's a big must if you have. You have to have a system that you're working with that can get those things integrated directly to your POS, because you don't want to have the four tablets or the 5 tablets or even less. You need to have one tablet. Despite the popularity of these apps and food delivery sites, it's been proved by a number of different analytics and some numbers with people other companies have run that about 81% of restaurant patrons really prefer ordering from the restaurant's website. Your POS provider should offer you a delivery management program, route optimization, driver management, driver analytics, how you manage your drivers through your system. You need to have this, and it should be the basics of any system that you choose. Driver tracking applications should be either offered or on the roadmap for these systems as well, and if they're not already natively answered or natively offered in the system. For new businesses, it's often beneficial to use these delivery services, at least in the beginning, and it allows you to gauge the market for delivery for your location and ultimately get you in front of a large audience that you might not be able to reach using usual marketing tactics. One more thing on this, there's some benefits and downside to doing it yourself, and obviously using one of the big 4. The upside of using it yourself is you control the product, you control the experience, the customer data is all yours. This is your system now. You control the experience. When that food leaves your store with one of the big 4 or any delivery service, it's no longer really yours, and the experience can change, and your customer experience is out of your hands. And that's an important thing, and it's an important thing to consider when outsourcing essentially your delivery management or your customer experience. The downside of obviously doing it yourself is you have to manage a driver fleet, and that costs money and costs insurance, and it's pain, and that's the downside. The big 4 ease of use, the big 4 have ease of use benefits, obviously allow you to concentrate your operations. They have an already large existing customer base that you can advertise to. And with more competition, though, one of the benefits too is the prices may start to come down some of the fees as more of these delivery services sort of pop up. The downside is, heavily covered, but, it's a high cost, eats into margins. You don't control the experience, and then the 4, 5, 6 tablets in your business, and that's no good for anybody. If you're a 1 to 20, 20 to 100 location pizzeria, there's help to compete. The larger chains now, from a technology front, again, like I said, there are solutions now that offer this for you, and it's a robust marketplace. Just make sure that you have, going back to what we were talking about before, you ask the right questions and implement it in the correct way. Competition designed for pizza will ultimately help you. There's a lot of competition in the market. The price is going to go down. And your tech has to be flexible enough and swift enough to help you keep up with rapidly evolving industry trends. When you're choosing a tech partner for your business, make sure they have an idea of what they're going to do in the future, right? Make sure that you know that they have a roadmap or an idea of how they're going to tackle your specific industry, pizza or coffee or whatever it may be. When you're vetting these systems, make sure they have the vertical or the type of business in mind when they're developing their solutions. Some people just develop a system for everything, but they need to also factor in key components when you're talking about pizzerias especially. All right, that's it from me. Thanks for your time today.